If you want to know the most common financial mistake or the mistake people make in their financial life, then this video is just meant for you. Welcome back, and I'm Pujita Singh, a certified life coach and NLP coach and an author. What I wanted to cover with all my lovely viewers out there is the most common thing that I have seen people doing as a mistake in their financial life. And you know what is that? It's a no-brainer again. The most common mistake that people do is investing or saving in random, right? What do I mean by that? For example, if you bump into a friend or a relative, they reach out to you and they say, hey, you know what, this product is really nice, just buy it. And people just go and end up buying one, right? It could be a policy, it could be any mutual fund, it could be anything, right? What people generally do is, hey, you know what, I think this will start helping me save something or invest right away. This is not how we plan our financial life, right? People think that they are making the right choice by investing or saving something right away, but that's the biggest blunder. If that particular product or service that you're using is not catering to the inflation, if whatever you're investing is not considering or beating the inflation. Now, what do I mean by inflation? Whatever is costing maybe 2 rupees, 3 rupees today might cost you like 10 rupees in the future, right? That's nothing but your cost of living. So whatever, and right now 7 to 8% is the minimum inflation that we see. So I am not a financial expert, but all I can tell you is, whenever you make investments in life or whenever you start investing, I think the first thing that you should do is reach out to somebody who is an expert in this field, right? Or it could be that make a financial goal and work towards it. Just say, for example, if you have a goal to achieve a certain amount of money by a certain amount of year, it could be for your child's education or it could be for your child's wedding, anything, right? What is important is, if you're planning on that aspect, ensure that you invest in a way that you're able to achieve that particular goal by that particular time frame, in fact more than that. But what happens with usually with people who don't have clarity or awareness, they just end up investing in random, right? Somebody just reaches out, you just end up saving or you just end up investing. Or somebody says, hey, you know what, there's a good policy, I started seeing that in the newspaper, or I read that in the newspaper, or I saw this in the news channel. They just go and buy it. But are you seeing for your situation, for your financial life, for your family, for your kids, for whatever age they are, whatever is the risk recovery or whatever is that gonna work out for your family, is it considered in that product? Maybe not, right? So biggest thing that I really want you to take away from this video is, please ensure whenever you're investing, first make it very clear in your head what is the amount you're trying to achieve by a particular time frame, and basis that, go back and reach out to someone who is an expert in financial industry, right? See, we all do this, right? If you're not keeping well, you go to a doctor, right? If you are looking for a certain service, you go for that particular expertise brand, right? It could be Urban Club, it could be anything. I'm not brand, I'm not sponsored by them, I'm just telling you, just as an example. So basically, wherever you are, whatever service you're looking for, you generally go for that. Whether it is your health wise, you go to a doctor. Similarly, for your financial health, why are you not going to an expert out there? This is something that shook my life couple of years ago. I had not much of an awareness. I did quite a lot of such mistakes that I am telling you all today to stop. And I got this with huge difficulty. Nobody came and told me. I was just doing things in random without even any purpose, without even knowing if my money is working for you. There's a saying, right? If money is not working for you, then that means you're not doing enough for that. So do something to ensure that whatever is your investment today is going to beat that inflation, is going to, like for example, if you're going to make that money sit idle in your bank account, it's not going to beat inflation. It's hardly any money because the interest by the banks is not Not much. I'm not here to demean which product is good, which product is not, because I don't have that knowledge. But what I can definitely tell you is that wherever you're doing any kind of investment, please ensure you're not doing things in random. Number two, you're prioritizing which one to be invested first versus the later. And also, most importantly, you go back and consult an expert if you are not an expert yourself, right? I just hope that people understand the value before it's too late, because what happens most of the times is we end up doing things and we don't realize where we are landing into, and tomorrow the same product or investment or service is not going to work out for you. I'll give you one classic example. There's one traditional way of investing, right? It could be on the policies, or it could be on plots or lands or whatever. People have this lovely behavior, especially in India, that let's invest in a plot or a land and that's going to help out for you. But remember, just a thought from my side, I'm not an expert, but this is my perspective here. During emergency, God forbid, if an emergency happens, can you do anything with that land? Right? Do you have enough cash in hand, or do you have anything which is flexible to help you during your emergency? Or rather, now the latest trend is people are investing in commercial properties where it's going to create a rent for you. So tell me something, the land that you invested in, is it giving you rent today? Or you want to go back and invest in properties which is going to give you rent, give you a recurring income? You might even recover the cost of commercial property or anything that you're trying to achieve in life, or maybe you're planning to buy a house. Okay, one classic example, right? People love buying house. They think that it's an asset. I am sorry, it's not an asset. Because you know what? On the same house, you will end up spending huge amount of money on annual maintenance, on some or the other expenses, which is recurring in nature, in terms of maintaining it and in terms of renovating it, and so much more. But let's take, for example, you take a property and you give it on rent. What happens? You are getting rental income out of it. Is that a better choice? Or you want to invest in something, let it be idle and doesn't even work for you? Think about it. A lot of things are changing in the world now, right? A lot of things are changing. The way we are looking at things, the way the world is moving, the way inflation is moving, what is working today in terms of 10 rupees, 100 rupees, 1000, 2000 is not going to be any value in the future, because the starting value will be somewhere else. So before it's too late, realize what you're doing, because what you're doing is not just going to impact you, it's going to impact the larger family, right? A lot of times, this is one more important thing that I see women doing as a biggest mistake in her life. She believes my husband is there, my husband will take care of financials. She doesn't even get into it. She'll be like, you know what, I don't need to take care of it. My husband is earning, my husband is looking into financials. But God forbid, if he's no more tomorrow, or if your relationship changes, or if the situation at home changes, are you going to start from scratch 50 years later, 20 years later? Or do you want to start right now, where you are understanding what your husband is doing, help him as well as a partner, and see what best can be done for the family? If one person is getting into it, doesn't mean that the other partner should not get into it. Of course you have to. If you are a homemaker or a housewife, that doesn't give you a privilege to get away from something which is your responsibility too. And by the way, I've mentioned this in my book as well, which is Wealth Creation Simplified, which I have authored recently. I've emphasized enough the kind of mistakes that women do in her life. So please realize that whatever investment you're making, let it beat the inflation, right? And never ever invest with the mindset of withdrawing it quickly. Invest it as if you don't need that money, and invest it for long term. I hope you found this useful. At least you had one or two takeaways from this video. Thank you so much for listening to me patiently, as always. And I hope that you will go back and at least practice one or two in your real life. And it's never too late. I keep mentioning this in my book. It's never too late. You can always start scratch, and you can always start from day one. And that day one can be today. With that, love you loads. Bye-bye.